Are you stuck in what feels like an overwhelming amount of work and tasks every single day, and yet it doesn't quite feel like you're ever getting anything done? Sure, you might have a bunch of stuff checked off the list, or maybe nothing got checked off the list. Regardless, you don't feel like you've had a very productive day, and maybe you've even lost track of keeping up with your long term projects and plans and the things that you wanted to get done. Or maybe things are falling through the cracks and you don't have a great way to keep track of them. And you're wondering how you can get your personal level of effectiveness up. If you have any of these concerns or these questions, then you are certainly not alone. I've been there. In fact, I was there just recently, and I made a crucial distinction in my work that allowed me to figure out the problem, get unstuck, and move really to new heights and levels of awareness. And I want the same thing for you. If that sounds good to you, then let's get started. First of all, I'm Steve Schramm. I help web entrepreneurs design, promote, and streamline their business. And one of the ways that I like to do that is by helping you through thinking about productivity, your personal productivity, your business productivity, and just ways to be more effective and streamlined in your business. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they don't make a distinction between their project manager, their task manager, and their day planner. Now, depending on who you are and what your role is, you may not even need all three. But one thing is for sure, you can't treat them like they're the same thing because they're not. There's three different things. You've got a project manager, a task manager, and then a day planner, or you could say instead of a day planner, a calendar. I want to show you the difference between those three by giving you a brief tour of three different apps. Now, this is not going to be a comprehensive tutorial on any of these apps, but I want you to see what they are meant for and why it is that they might be a little bit different than what you're thinking. And if you try to use one as the other, that's where you're going to get messed up. The first one I want to talk about is Things 3. Things 3 is a task manager and it helps you get organized on the daily tasks that you have to do, upcoming tasks that you have to do, and things that you would like to do someday or that have to be done someday. The second one we're going to talk about is Sunsama. Sunsama is a daily planner. It helps you, based on your calendar, do time blocking and get stuff done within a single day. And then the final thing I want to talk to you about is Basecamp. Basecamp is a project management software that, of course, has some things to do with individual tasks and also has some scheduling features as well. But it's primarily about managing and organizing projects across a team. And I want to show you what that looks like today. So without further ado, let's dive into Things 3. Now, Things 3 is a task management application. The window that I've got right here is just a simple look at what is on my list for today. Now, I've got a couple things going on here that you're probably not going to see right when you get the app turned on. For example, if you were to start with their free trial for Mac. And one of those is going to be the calendar up here. So I've actually got the calendar section showing. By default, you wouldn't necessarily see that. Also, I've got tags added to many of my tasks. You'll see those showing up right here. So tags are associated with many of these individual tasks. And because of that, I can now go here and filter by those tags. By the way, a little pro tip in Things 3, filtering is primarily what you're going to do with tags. Now I want to bring over the sidebar here so you can get a better look at what this app really looks like and the way it helps organize your life. What we've got is an inbox, today, upcoming, anytime, someday, the logbook, the trash, and then different areas of your life. And underneath of those areas are projects. So Things 3 is a project-based task manager. And what it helps you do is decide what things you want to get done today, what things you might want to get to in the near future, what things you should consider long term, and then it helps you organize those things into different areas of your life. Beyond that, it starts with the capture process, which happens at the inbox. The great thing about the inbox is that anytime you have an idea, no matter where you are on your computer, you can just hit this keyboard shortcut and this nice little window will pop up and it will let you go ahead and record whatever is on your mind. And then later you can set up a process for going in and actually filtering those things into the correct area and setting them up for the correct time. So things three is a task manager. And again, the purpose of a task manager is to help you stay organized on your tasks, your personal tasks. And when I say personal tasks, again, some of these might be in the sphere of life that involves your work. Some of them might be involving a ministry you're involved in, or it might just be simple things like taking out the trash and your household responsibilities. The point is that across the realm of your life, this is a place that's just for you to get the most important things done, to decide when they need to be done, and to stay effective. And this was a big mistake that I made. I made the mistake of thinking that when I was using Sunsama or Basecamp, I was using a task manager. And that's not the case. I wondered why I wasn't getting all that I thought I should be getting done. And that's because I was zooming in either too far or I was zooming out too far. I needed a middle ground, and the task manager is that middle ground, and it might be where many of you are lacking focus. So for a task manager, I highly recommend using things three to help get organized by the areas of your life, by the projects you might need to do within those areas, and then thinking about when you're actually going to accomplish your tasks. Okay, so the next one I want to show you is Sunsama. Sunsama is a incredible daily planner application, and it is primarily calendar based. Now, in the app, you can actually see your calendar right here. It connects with lots of tools like Google Calendar. It will connect with Trello and other tools, Slack, for example, that are part of your daily work routine. And what you can do is you can be creative and you can filter in items from your different project managers and calendaring applications into this tool, and it will let you schedule those things for a particular day. And really, although you could go macro with it and think about projects way in the future, that's really not what this is for. Okay. This app is really for planning your week and your day, which is really great. So obviously you can see weekly objectives. This is the objective view, and we have objectives right here. There is a backlog right here that shows all the things that you might want to get to one day, but they're not really organized. There's no great way to organize these actually. And it seems to me like when you're planning for your long-term tasks, you don't want to think about those things as just being in a backlog. They're not in a backlog. A backlog sounds immediately defeating, like you haven't got things done. Whereas it's just something that you want to tackle someday, which is why having a task manager is great. Now, why would you use a tool like this? Well, I want to show you the power of this. So if I wanted to go in here and I wanted to do a daily plan for today, this tool is amazing because it's going to walk you through your calendar events. Not only your calendar events, it's going to walk you through the tasks that you want to do. It's going to ask you to assign an estimated time to each of those tasks that you have to do so that your workload stays on point. And as you run through this process, it's going to say, well, what things actually could wait? Could you wait till tomorrow to do this task? Could this task wait till next week? And it's going to allow you to structure your day in such a way where you're not trying to do too much. Okay. Now, a task manager like Things 3 will not help you accomplish this. Okay. Because it's not going to tie reality in terms of the time it will take to do a task to the actual task at all. And so Sunsama is going to make it really easy for you to associate time with tasks and make sure that you're not trying to squeeze too much into one day. And what's really cool is that when you go here and you finalize your plan, what it wants you to do is actually schedule in by dragging and dropping when you are going to do a particular task and how long it's going to take. You can even come right here and drag that task to take up more time, or you can drag it to take up less time, or you can remove it altogether from your calendar for the day. And there's lots of settings that you can go into, which we'll go into in a later video, that allows you to predefine the certain times that things could be done, such that you could just come right here and with a keyboard shortcut, have it auto assign when those tasks are going to be done. And if it turns out that you don't have enough time left in the day for that, it's going to say, look, are you overcommitted? We can't really find some free time based on your schedule for this. So, should we schedule it anyway? Should we schedule another day? Or should we move it along? So, if your current struggle is not necessarily keeping up with all the things you have to do, but rather just trying to get through a day, then Sunsama is likely to be the tool for you. Now, I will say you can also accomplish something similar to this with a calendaring app like Apple Calendar or Fantastical or even Google Calendar. But it is a little bit more rough around the edges than a process like this that is designed to walk you through planning an effective day and planning an effective week. Using a calendar will work, but this definitely makes the process a little bit easier. And in my opinion, if this truly is your issue, then I think it's worth the investment that you'll pay to use the app. Last but not least, let's talk about project managers like Basecamp. Now, Basecamp for me is the creme de la creme of project management apps. When I found Basecamp, I thought, man, I am home. Basecamp makes it so cool and so easy to see and define what a project is. Now, I run a web design team all over the world. And it's sometimes hard to get on the same page, especially if you're one like me who really doesn't like meeting culture. I don't like jumping on Zoom calls. I don't like jumping on calls. I try to do that with the minimal amount of time possible. But Basecamp makes it super easy for us to stay asynchronous, meaning out of time, right? So without synchronizing, and we can yet get a lot done because we write up our thoughts in long form. We communicate via the tools when we need to, and it's just so easy to define a project. So, for example, if I wanted to look inside of a project that were working on with our web design company, I would click here and I could literally see everything all at once that is involved in the project. I can see the to-dos, where we're at with the process of actually completing the project. I can see all of the files that are associated with the project all in one place. I can see the message board for updates. I can make sure the client is involved in things as well. And I can chat with my team, look at the schedule, and automatically check in on things to see how it is going. It's a pretty amazing tool, and it's great for synchronizing the team. However, it's not a personal task manager, and it really only makes sense when you're in the context of the work you're doing for the particular company in the Basecamp. So, like, I can go to the home screen here and then scroll to the bottom and see my assignments, but I won't see any of the assignments that are overdue. So maybe I didn't get to something yesterday. Well, I'm not going to see that right here. I actually have to go here and look at all of them and see what all is overdue. And frankly, it's kind of messy, the interface here. I have to kind of get myself oriented to see what I'm looking at. And then, oh, yeah, this is due today. And then I go from here. And while there are a few really nice things about Basecamp in terms of your personal management of time, the reality is it's just not made for that. It's just not made to manage your personal tasks across the wide areas of responsibility that you are accountable for. So when it comes to updating your team and keeping things in the loop, then that is where you will need to go into Basecamp to have those conversations and to check things off at that level so that your managers and your team leads and your colleagues know what's going on. But in my opinion, you should still have a personal tool that you use to manage your tasks, like Things 3 or Sunsama. So, which one is right for you? Which one do you need to use? Well, here's how I'll put it. Honestly, some people probably need all three. I would say most people could benefit from 2 out of the 3, and, there are some rare people who I think could just get along with one of them. So, which is it? How is it going to work? Which one do you need? Which one is right for you? Do you need them all, etcetera? How do you know? Okay, well, when it comes to a project management platform, you may or may not have very much say over that at all. So many teams are using tools like Asana to track projects. Some use Slack to track projects, although I don't think that's very beneficial because Slack is really not a project management tool at all. Some use Notion to track projects, which again can be another tool. It's highly customizable to track projects. If you're working with a company, it's very unlikely that you actually have a say over that tool. Now, if you are in a position where you own the company and you're watching this video and you perceive your problem to be that your team is disorganized, then what you're missing is a project management tool, and that's where you need to look first. Again, my personal recommendation is Basecamp, but there are lots of other great platforms out there. Now, if your problem is not that your team is, unfocused or unable to get work done, nor is it that you're unable to see what's going on across all of your areas of responsibilities and keeping track of what should be done when, but instead your problem is that you just don't feel effective during the day. You can't figure out how to manage your time during the day to get what's actually on the list done. Then you need to be using a calendar application or a day planner. You may only have to do this temporarily. For example, me, I was in a particular season of life over I would say the tail end of 2022, where I really needed to get organized on that. I really needed to get my daily life organized and figure out how to manage my time wisely. But then in my business, my responsibilities shifted a little bit, and I was feeling like I was getting less and less done, even though I was using the tool that was supposed to help me get more done by organizing my day. What I realized is that my responsibilities had shifted from the kind of things that were very time sensitive and could fit neatly into time blocking, and instead to things at the client development and sales development level, and also the team development and um, the strategic thinking level. That it was harder to put those sort of items on a calendar. You had to be able to flex around and easily move things from one day to the next because there wasn't necessarily a tight deadline around getting a thing done. I'm not doing project work anymore. And so I was wondering why I was lacking effectiveness. And what I realized is that I needed to graduate, in my case, from a day planner into a full fledged personal project based task manager, such as Things 3. And that's what I started to do. And that made all the difference. So if you feel like you're lacking effectiveness within the context of a day or a week, then you need to look at a calendaring app or a day planner. Finally, if your problem is not effectiveness within a day or team communication and working together, but instead you're just feeling like there's a lot of things that you want to do, but you're not really able to track those things anywhere. You might have an idea that comes up, and then 3 days later, you remember that you had an idea, but you don't remember what the idea was. If that's you, which was definitely me, then what you need is a project based task manager like Things 3 that will help you organize your life by the different areas of responsibility that you have, capture wants and have to do's and desires and even goals to an extent that you have, and put them into the system, and then create a system like a weekly review, quarterly review, even a daily review if you'd like, that will allow you to go in and process those tasks into the order that they need to go. What may seem crazy is you might end up with eventually hundreds of tasks in there that you have to figure out over the course of your days. It could get overwhelming, but if you have a tool like Things 3, it will help keep them organized into the different places they go and also into the different areas of time that they need to be put in. So it will feel a lot less overwhelming. In fact, I think it will save you some stress and some overwhelm because at least you will have kept a record of your thoughts, of your ideas, and you can now make decisions on how to act on them. So I do hope now that we've discussed the differences between these three, it makes a lot more sense to you whether you might be lacking in project management or task management or daily calendar management. Hey, if you'd love more videos like this to help you be more effective in your life and in your business, please let me know in the comments that this is the kind of content that you would like to see. We're experimenting with this sort of content on the channel, and so it would really, really help, especially now, to get your likes and your comments if this is something that you're interested to learn more of. God bless you guys. Take care, and we'll catch you in the next video.